Okay, it's time to have it out, mind to mind. I've grown weary, very tired of reminding people of things. This note is being made. I just lost my mom. She passed away, however you call it. Um, and the thing that I hate and dread about loss of life is the vulturism, the buzzards, the get his guns and boots when they hit the ground, go through their pockets. I hate all of that. What people do when someone dies and how they act. It's always tied to the possessions left behind or money left behind. When there's nothing, it doesn't occur. When there's something, it occurs always. I've never faced it before. I've just witnessed it. Now I'm living through it. Particularly the house my mom lived in that actually belonged to my grandma, mother. Rumor is she put it in me and her name to keep her Social Security and the bill payers, the bill collectors, from getting the property. This was hidden by my mom because, come on, your mom skips over you and go to your grandson, her grandson. It's a long story. Maybe I will make a note, maybe I won't. It's personal. But this note has to be made. This house thing, there is no such thing as a house. I understand about space and territory, but also understand that your mind's not right. There's no such thing as a house because you went out in a space, in the woods, the jungle, desert, wherever, and you cleared all the cactus, all the trees, all the vegetation, and you cleared a space, and you took trees and chopped them up and tied them together, nailed them together, glued them together, it doesn't matter, and created what you call a wall. And you put these walls around you, and you tell yourself you're somewhere else when you're not. You're still in the forest, the jungle, or wherever, and it's an illusion of safety because something's between you and the wild, wild world. The houses that you live in currently might as well be made by the Three Little Pig Construction Company. They're not safe in no manner or mean. They're primitive to the people. The people, this is the early 2020s. Later on, even in the later 2020s, especially the 2030s, it's going to be laughed at because you're living about as advanced as you see people in ancient times and how they lived when they didn't have glass, just open holes in the wall that they call windows. Well, that's how you're seeing, okay? This is an illusion. It's not disaster proof, not flood, no earthquake, no storm, no nothing. You'll die in it. But you have the illusion you're safe. But burglars can enter at any time they want to, and a car can drive through your wall. You've seen it. So you're not safe. It's an illusion. And you're not somewhere else. You're still out in an open space. And because you put cardboard between you and the world, you could still hear that world. gas can still get to you. Vapors. It's not airtight. It's not safe. It's not a house. It just, originally it was called shelter, was for protection from the elements and the animals. I'm going to make a completely note on what is safe. But this is not it. This is about the illusion. Okay? And people fighting over this illusion. Sorry about that. You know me. I'm a no-ums kind of person. Individual. It's part of a game that people keep playing with me. I have to remind others. Let me just give you an example. I have to remind my neighbors, their house, their space, that's it for them. They don't control anything beyond them bounds. They don't have no say-so about anything above them or below them or beyond that space. And the illusion only gives them authority in that space. Once the illusion is gone, they won't have that anymore. They can't claim they own a piece of the earth because they didn't create the earth. So, that's the only thing you can claim ownership of. Something you made. Something that belongs to you. So you can own combinations of things you put together on the earth. But you can't own any particular thing in the earth, like you'll never be the owner of trees, the owner of rocks, the owner of the ground, actually. If you check your deed or whatever, you don't own the ground beneath you. You only own the house. Now, my neighbors, I have to remind them that they live on my block. And the gangs in their hoods, I have to remind them that they live in my city. And these cities, I have to remind them that they live in my state. And the states, I'm going to have to remind them that they live in my country, my nation, my company. And I have to remind this country that it lives in my world. Because everybody oversteps their bounds when it comes to these spaces. You're in a game in which I'm playing as such. I'm a 5-time in a row winner. You're not even aware it's a game. And I've won 5 in a row out of 3 out of 5 series. I have nothing to worry about, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. I'm playing at such a high level. I'm operating at such a high level that I can predict all the moves of the people at the lower level. I know all the options open to them. I know what they're going to think before they think it. I know what their reaction is to everything. They don't even know that it's preset, given to them, their behavior, their reaction, that they're taught to act this way when it comes to this. And that I know all of that, what they were taught, what they were programmed. I'm going to give one last example because I don't see why anyone is calling themselves against me. That's like being against the truth, against life. Because nothing I'm saying is me. It's all the truth. It's all about life. But they build these little parties because they're feeling hurt that I threw a dart and it nailed them right in their sore spot, right in their spot that they thought was secret. And they said, well, he's going to cost me or embarrass me. Let me attack him. I'm not the one embarrassing you or costing you. It's the truth that's costing you. Okay? And you are nothing against the truth. You're playing at such a low level. You're so predictable. I'm giving my moves to my people who are calling themselves my enemies so that I can identify them. Okay? Because it's a big world. And everyone's pretending to be on your side when you're in power. But they're not. They're just scared to reveal themselves. So they do sneaking. They're waiting to make sneak attacks. Well, I did this from the beginning. And one of these moves is these mental notes. All right? There's a people who say, hey, I heard he be talking to himself. He's talking about we're crazy. He's crazy. See, now they give themselves away. Instead of dealing with they're crazy, they're trying to find something to use against me. Like, hey, because they have more crazies. They have other crazies that tell them I'm not the only one. Like that changes anything in the universe. Like that makes it okay that they're screwed up because someone, thousands of others are. No, it doesn't change anything. It's called a distraction, a diversion, a misdirection when they speak to you like this. To take your mind focus off the fact that they have this problem by making you think about all the others that have this problem. Trying to make it seem common or normal makes it okay. No, if everyone in the world is insane, you being insane is still not okay. And so you're playing at a game that you can never win. This is another example to those who are trying to sneak attack me. I fed them this. While I was making these mental notes, no one saw a device. So they assumed I was talking to each other. Yeah, there's about 10 mental notes on talking to yourself. This one is different. This goes right to the point. Here's what has happened. They look like idiots when they find out I was making these mental notes. I wasn't talking to myself. And then in the mental notes, I tell them how insane they are because no doctor has told them this is a sign of insanity. Okay? People talking to invisible people and people who are not there and all that may be signs of insanity. But seeing someone speaking and you don't see anyone listening could mean that they're talking to a dead relative, to their God, it doesn't. They could be speaking to a microphone. There could be someone hidden somewhere within ear range that you can't see from your angle or perspective who did something to make them speak out loud to that person. And you can't see the person. So you have a narrow perspective. You should not be assuming or judging anything until you fix your mind. Look at the setup. They're going to try to make this an issue. And the mental notes are going to make them look really, really dumb, stupid. I don't like the word dumb. It's incorrect. And as always, let me put all those people who think, oh, what he's saying is written, I learned that in school, I already knew that. I always kill those people in these notes because they're trying to dodge the bullet. Like he's not talking about me, he's talking about you guys. I already know this stuff. So tell the people right now what you know about talking to yourself. Beyond what I told everyone, like it's in every self-help book called Autosuggestion, Self-Hypnosis. Repeat these words over and over and over and you will be successful. You will be able to do it. It will become isn't it science? It's a fact. If you do something a dozen, 15 times, it becomes a habit and you can continue on with it. All this is effective. And even Michael Jackson talking about starting with the man in the mirror. All this is therapeutic. All this is absolutely necessary. Now, who's the person in the mirror? Yourself. So you're talking to yourself. Okay? Now, here's where I kill all my peers. People who think they're my peers. Here is the action when I do it. Your physical brain, as you call it, is not there. I've told you there's no such thing as a brain, but the organs in your head have two. Your thoughts are divided into two categories. What is called your imagination, which are the thoughts that you're producing, putting together, working on, doing whatever, and your memory, which are the thoughts that you've acquired that have went into your head. And how professionals know when someone's lying, their eyes look up towards the side where their imagination is, which means they're making this up. And when they're telling the truth, their eyes turn toward the side of a memory. They are recalling this, so they're telling the truth. No lie detectors or anything. It's become that advanced. That's why they don't use that crap. It can be cheated. These things, these body languages, these signals cannot. They are flawless. They're implanted, actually. Now, here's what I'm doing when I speak out loud and why you should do it. Everyone should. You take the thoughts that you are thinking, you send them out and suck them back in to the other side, which is your memory place, what you operate from. Therefore, they become in a category with the truth. You see what happens? If you just think inside your head, this doesn't happen. But if you speak your thought out loud, you also witness it, and it becomes one of your memories. Not all of your imaginations make it to your memory. You'll forget things that you're imagining. That's why in my neck of the woods I grew up in, if you forgot what you were saying or forgot what you were thinking, we will say it probably was a lie. Automatic reaction. This is what's behind that. Your imaginations don't always make it into your memory bank. Very, very tiny, small, minute things that you're serious about. Thoughts that you remember. But if you speak those thoughts out here, your mind records everything out here and it is locked in your memory. Okay? So the reason that you're speaking your thoughts out loud is so that you can reload those thoughts back into your mind, not someone else's. So you're not talking to them. That's not going to do you any good. Ignore the background sounds like I told you, the never-ending trains or whatever. I'm going to turn the fan back on, all right? Because if something's being loaded besides my voice, the fan will corrupt it. It also corrupts what I'm saying, and it makes it hard to copy these videos. All right? Do you hear that sound getting louder and louder from a train? That there is no train alive that in creation that is that long as you're going to hear this sound, okay? Which is supposed to be disappearing like really fast. I mean, the town is about when you could hold the length of the city between your thumb and your index finger if you move back far enough. Okay, if you move back 9 or 10 blocks and look between your fingers, it will stretch from one end of the city to the other end. That's how small it is. So, who can manipulate a train? That ought to be a Blue's Clue for you. All right? Now, no more of this talking to yourself crap. You've been defeated. The only reason that you're being informed, instead of slaughtering you in the debate and picking you off for being my enemy, is I've grown so tired of deception I don't want to practice it in any kind of way. That's why we didn't fool anybody. I was somebody famous instead of who I really was. You see, we could have tricked you, and you never would have knew the difference. I could have tricked you 1,000 times by not just telling you, just blindly ambushing you with this information. If it's shared with you, I am not your enemy. If you attempt to be mine, I'm going to go into a completely another mold. I'm going to turn green, swell up, and beat the crap out you. Now, do you understand what I just told you about why you should practice this act? If you want to remember your thoughts, say them out loud and reload them into the other side of your mind. We'll use that term for right now. Take them out of this one area, your imagination, and all your thoughts are imaginary. They're not true, okay? They don't exist. They're just some pictures inside of your head, okay? You take those pictures inside of your head, send them out through your vocal cords, put them out here in the world. Now they become something that is actually in the world, even if it's just sound. Even if they haven't materialized, this is the start of the process by getting it out of your head, out here in the world. You want your wants and desires to materialize in front of you. The first step is getting them out of your imaginary head into this true world. So speak them out loud. It is the beginning of the process. When you speak them out loud, now that they're out here, you can take them and load them into your memory, which is the operating system of your world and you. Things aren't ordered necessarily. You don't get your every imagination. The world doesn't take any order. But something that is in your mind can be read at any time, any point, and it's there. And something checking your mind goes by this. It doesn't go by fleeting thoughts. It goes by here is the desire, here is the wants. Here are the thoughts of this person stored. It checks the storage. It's not constantly monitoring you 24/7 to see what you're thinking so it can give you what you want. There's too many individuals for that. It checks everyone's storage. But that's in a completely another note over the head of a lot of people. Like I said, I'm operating at a high level. Not even a high level. Well, let's say an intense level. Just calling it a level gives you this concept of high and low. That's like you have these imaginary concepts of being on top of someone else when you walk on the ground just like them, or someone coming up or being up like they're flying in the air, and someone being down like they're down on the ground and you're up somewhere else. All this is insanity at work. And no one told you, because you would know they were crazy too, and you would no longer listen to them, let them guide you, set laws, restrict you, or tell you anything. So it was not in their best interest to tell you that the world has become insane. They didn't make it, they inherited it, they're just trying to manage it. They can't, because they're insane. I'm not making any more notes about leave me alone, because it's fight time. It's election time. It's campaign time, it's popularity time, it's music time, entertainment, whatever you want to call it. It's on. So I'm not holding back in a fight. I'm coming in with both guns blazing. No more Mr. Nice Guy. If I'm not going by the clothes you have on, the body or the skin you're in. I'm going by something you can't mask that is beyond body language and all the vibes that you're sending out. If I pick up negative vibes, I'm going to cut you in half with my eyes. And be prepared to physically dismantle you. Eliminate you from the equation. I make no pretense about this. I'm not a religious nut. If you attack me or make an attempt on me, you might die. I'm not going to show any mercy to someone trying to harm or kill me. That was a different person. He did the Jesus walk, and they almost killed him over 1,000 times. You're going to hear tales of all the nice things he did. And they're going to hide all the stories of all the horrible things they did to him. Why he shouldn't even be able to walk, talk, think, or anything. He should be a vegetable. If he's living, he should be on life support. That's what they did to him. And all the time he had superior mind, superior skills. He could have did way worse to them than what they did to him. He allowed this. He allowed them to stone him. And all these things based on some religious insanity. He's lucky, that which is another form of religion, that he's alive. That he lived through it. So we put him to rest. It's time now. And I'm a martial artist in 1,000 different ways. Not just physically. I'm a mental martial artist. I will destroy you mind to mind, thought for thought, plan for plan, scheme for scheme, whatever, strategy for strategy. I will wipe you out. So, don't forget the part about the man in the mirror, which left out the sister, the daughter, the mother in the mirror. This man thing, male, female, woman. I don't get tired of saying it until it's changed. Women love him. We can't figure out why. So let's copy how he dresses. What if it's not something that they're looking at? Did you ever think about that? Did you ever ask any of them? When they describe it to you, do they say, wow, it's the way he looks? No. They say, he knows. He knows about women. He knows about man. He's a man. He just knows things that you don't. Sorry, babe. I mean, he just knows. And you can't figure out what that means. What they're trying to tell you that I am, that he is. They can't describe to you what he is. If they tell you he's a man, you don't know what that is. And I can prove you don't. You walk around calling yourself a man, but you're not. And how do you know you're a man if you don't know the definition of it? what the word and those who created the word meant, you're going to find out it's the wrong word. Probably is a good thing that there are many, many languages. Maybe someone will have it right where the picture matches the description. So, instead of me doing it for you, see, right now you're loading my thoughts into your memory. Once these thoughts are in your mind and you are thinking anything, say it out loud. Load your own thoughts into your mind because you're going to have to tweak mine. See, I'm not from the school of fuck you. In the school of fuck you, if you come into a martial arts studio, they're going to teach you the same thing as they taught thousands of other people. You're going to fight like a cookie in a cookie pack. And if you should ever fight against any of all those cookies, the best you can pull up is a draw. But more times you're going to take losses because they can predict what you're going to do. Because you're doing some standard thing. I hate that word standard, except the music that's called that. I'm going to change that name. Keep the music. I don't like that word. Standard. It's retardation. It's a holdback. It kills progress. Standard. Because things are evolving and they can't evolve with a standard. Because it means not to change. So, there you have it. Is he mad? Is he talking to himself? No. The crazies are trying to find a way out of him, getting them fired. And this is the best they could come up with. A move he actually used as a lure, as bait in the trap he set for them. You're going to find this over and over and over. Every time they try to take one of these mental notes in Capital, I went into the thrift store, place I told you in earlier notes not to go. Let me extend that note. There are items you can find on the street that are cleanable, that you can make safe, leather items, electronics. I'm talking about actual people's clothes that they were wearing when they died of some communicable disease, something that soap and water can't kill. You should not be putting on that item. And people become attached to those type of things. And if there are spirits, hey, you might be in for some trouble. Like, they might not want you wearing their clothes. But, hey, from what I was told about all the spiritual stuff, I'm pretty sure they're not caring about their clothes. They're not even feeling the loss of their body because it was an anchor, a holdback. It was painful. It was a struggle. It was all bad. They're probably happy to be rid of it. From my understanding of these things that you were taught. Yes, I was taught those things too. But when I was a baby, in my diaper, I used to boo-boo. I don't do that anymore. So I will hear no more talk of what I used to do. What did your mom teach you? What did your mother name you? And all this crap that people try. When you tell them you changed your name or you decided this, they try to tell you, like, if you change your name, right? Well, that's not your name. What did your mom name you? What's on your birth certificate? That's not your name anymore. You changed it. Well, what was it anyway? Tell me. Tell you for what? So you can call me something I don't want to be called? So you could reference me in your brain in a way I don't want to be referenced? No. a simple concept, and in all academia and education, you won't find defined. Therefore, it can't be taught to anyone. It's usually taught through pain and suffer and punishment. In other words, you're taught. See, not means no, and no means not. But you're not taught what either one of those mean, actually. So you can't teach a child the meaning of no or not. You do other things to make sure they get that you don't want them to do this. And don't is do not. So it's like actions. Then over a while, over time, they'll get it and they'll demonstrate that they got it by breaking the rule. I know what no means. I even know the opposite of it. And so the kid misbehaves trying to show you that they do know what no means. Because I can choose to do it or not do it. You know, and when you tell them no, they show you what no means by telling you no with their actions. I bet you haven't figured that out. What is disobeying and why can't I get these kids to act right? What is going on? Well, puzzle solved. This the SPS. You know me, and you know the rest.